Every single one of us hates change. I would love to say I adopt change with open arms. I'm dragged kicking and screaming against my will into the new subject. I just want everything to stay the same. I just want to just one week, not have anything change for a week. Especially because the change affects how I earn a living, how I bill, how I work, how I edit. I was watching probably the smartest man I've met is Michael Cioni. He's the CEO of Light Iron. And he had a great quote. He said, "Behavioral changes are more important than technical ones." And if I hear one comment coming back in the 300 emails that I get a day, behavioral changes are at the heart of it. Why did Apple have to change this? Why couldn't they have left everything the same? As Mike Fernandez, member NBC Universal, George to the rescue. He said, "The biggest element in training my staff on how to run Final Cut 10 was not the technology, it was the fear of learning new technology." The fear of learning new technology. Reminded me of Franklin Roosevelt in his first inaugural address, 1933, when the United States was in the heart of the Great Depression. Millions of Americans were out of work. 30% of America was unemployed. And he was elected to be president to fix this problem. In the third paragraph of his inaugural address, he said something that's stayed with us ever since. He said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Fear paralyzes us. The fear that I'm not smart enough to learn the application. The fear that this is going to be beyond me. The fear that if I don't learn it, I lose my business. It's a paralyzing fear. Of course you don't want to change. Dragged, kicking and screaming into the modern age when it works fine now, it ain't broke. Recently I had a carpenter remodel part of my house. It was basically a direct line to my bank account. My bank account went to the carpenter, but nonetheless, remodeling was done. And when he walked in with that toolkit, he didn't have one hammer. He didn't have one screwdriver. That man walked in with a chest full of tools and used every single one of them as he's pounding and doing stuff to create the product that we want. There is no single tool, not one hammer that can pound in screws, not one screwdriver that's going to remove a nail. You got to have multiple tools. We're no longer in a multi-tool environment. What you want is you want the ability of all the tools to work together. So the last complaint that I hear is, why doesn't Apple build all these tools into one package? I'm reminded of the car industry. If you've ever walked into an auto parts store and looked at all the different elements that were there, all the different things that you could add to your car, if every car manufacturer built every single possible option that was available for your car into a single car, one, it would never get done, and two, I couldn't afford to buy it when it was complete. It has too much stuff. We are in an industry which defines itself as change. We are competing with younger folks who have no knowledge of the traditional way of doing things. We have to accept that change is the inevitable point. We have to accept that change is the inevitable product of telling stories with pictures. Camera technology evolves, storage technology evolves, output technology evolves. It's constantly evolving. We are not yet through the full conversion from film to digital. As we continue in that unfolding process of discovering how digital impacts our lives in a tapeless environment, the tools that we use must change. And we have to get ready for that. Now, if you're a hobbyist, use whatever tool you want. Final Cut 5 is still being used to this day in Hollywood. I know for a fact network shows are being successfully edited on Avid Media Composer 3, which hasn't been updated since the time of the Great Flood. But if we're a professional, coping with change has got to be built into our DNA. You don't necessarily have to like it, but we have to expect it. We have to plan for it.